So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. In this episode, we're going to take a look at phones that I don't think will last easily the next 5 years. Now, when I talk about updates, I'm talking about phones that get updates a very long time. The 6S, 7 updates with this thing. The 6S Plus also 7 updates. That's insane. But if we take a look at Apple's track record of having that many updates, will these iPhones last? I don't think they will last that long. But if you're thinking, well, Nick, bro, it's still going to be here. Yeah, I'm not saying the obvious that it's not going to be here in 5 years. If you keep using it, it's not like it's just going to vanish off the face of the earth. I'm talking about they're not recommended right now to keep that long. If you're going to plan on keeping a iPhone that long. We'll begin with number 1, the iPhone 10. Why does the iPhone 10 get on my list here? And that's because the iPhone 10 will be 5 years old this year. It came out in 2017. So in order for this to last the next 5 years, it would have to get 10 major updates. I don't think I see that happening with this one. Now, I do think that if you keep it for the next 3 or 4 years, it will still be a nice device. It's never going to be a non-nice device. It has stainless steel. It has OLED display. It's a pretty sizable panel. It's always going to feel like a nice device, just like the iPhone 5S. The iPhone SE still feels like a nice device, and it was a revolutionary iPhone that really pioneered the newer days of iPhone, the modern iPhone. So it's still a beautiful phone right now. Maybe a couple more years it's got under its belt, maybe 3, but 5, I don't know about that. That one I would have to put on the list, the iPhone 10. The next one is the Apple iPhone 8, and I already kind of consider this one not worth it at all because the iPhone SE 2020 came out and basically brought the iPhone 8 back to life with a faster chip. It's going to have longer software updates, a better camera, same battery life, but the iPhone 8, I just don't see it lasting that long. I mean, why would they consider pushing updates for this one over and over again when they're going to make even another SE probably here just next month? So I don't see this one being very relevant or staying around that much longer, although it's still a pretty solid phone. It still functions well. It still works well, and it's still updated to this day. I just don't see it in 2027 being anything relevant or anything being updated. And that's going to lead me on to talk about the iPhone 8 Plus, one that I very much loved and talked a lot about. It's one of my most popular videos on this channel in the history of the Nick Ackerman channel is the iPhone 8 Plus. I've always loved it. I loved it so much that I had the white one and I traded it for the red one. A 5.5-inch display, some amazing battery life for the time. The width was nice because it does give you the ability to have 16:9. You get a lot of content across the screen, but you did get these thick bezels, and design-wise, I think it's already kind of outdated. But the iPhone 8 Plus still runs very well to this day. You have a dual camera setup, nothing very fancy. You don't have like a, ultra wide or anything like that, but it still performs quite well. And I do think it's got at least 3 more years under its belt, but I'm not going to say, just like the iPhone 10 and 8, it's not going to go 5 more years. So I just don't see this thing lasting that long. And a lot of people would say that this one is already extremely old looking, extremely outdated. And they wouldn't be too wrong if you want to talk from a design aesthetic, but this phone is still updated. It still runs very well. It still has a nice LCD 1080p panel, which you don't see on a lot of phones anymore, everything going OLED. Now, I have a couple of wild cards I wanted to mention here before we get up out of here. Number 1 is the iPhone XR. Now, a lot of people are going to want to fight me on this one, but I'm not quite sure this one will make it the next 5 years just because it's 2018. It'll be 4 years old this year. It would have to get 9 software updates. So I don't see it happening here for the iPhone XR either. Let me go ahead and unlock this thing really quickly. But that would go for the XS series as well. We're going to talk about in a minute. But the iPhone XR, a beautiful phone, beautiful colors. Again, pioneered bringing back the, decent price iPhone with a nice amount of colors. Definitely a very big success, the iPhone XR and the 11 that followed suit. But I just don't see it. I mean, it's a great phone to pick up now if you want it for a few years, maybe even 4 years it should last, but I'm not sure it's going to go 5. This thing would have to, again, have 9 years of software update. I just don't see it happening. So the iPhone XR is not one I would pick right now if you're planning on you're going to buy an iPhone right now and you're planning on going 5 years down the line. Now that will bring me on to the iPhone XS and XS Max. While these are some beautiful phones as well, the Apple iPhone XS and XS Max, they are just basically iPhone 10s upgraded a year later. So, the iPhone 10, like I say, not going to make it that long of a distance. Will the iPhone XS and XS Max go longer? Absolutely. They do have the faster chips, and they're basically, you know, the S models. So we'll see. Now, again, I think the iPhone XS with its build and body, it will definitely feel nice. It'll have a large display still. This is 6.5 inch OLED. This camera to me looking a little bit dated though. If you take a look at even the iPhone 13 mini's camera right here, just makes this look terrible in terms of size. But I'm not saying it's bad. It's a great camera. You do have your, you have your 2x zoom. You can go 10x on here. No ultra wide, but the video quality can go up to 4K 60. Amazing quality overall. If you know what you're doing, you're not going to have a bad video whatsoever. The XS series to me though, and the XR is a wild card. I really want to see what happens with those. These phones are when the chips really started getting extremely fast. Not that the iPhone 8 Plus with its A11 wasn't extremely fast, but I just want to see where they go because the A12, A13, they started getting ridiculous fast at those points, and I want to see how far those can go. So those are kind of wild cards for me, but I still don't think they're going to make it the 5 years. So let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you think that the iPhone, any of these iPhones I picked here, are going to go a little bit further than what I mentioned here, or do you think I'm pretty much on point? Let me know also if you think any of these phones before this, like the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, have many years left under their belt. It's kind of interesting because it seems like Apple's getting better and better and going longer and longer with their software updates. I'm quite surprised by how far they took the 6S and the 6S Plus. So it's something that's quite interesting. Let me know your thoughts about this down below in the comment section. If you have any of these phones or you're planning on getting any of them and you have any questions about them, be sure to leave those questions down below in the comments. A lot of people will help you out. They'll tell you their experiences, and I'll try to get back as many comments as I can. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.